Fetterman of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is his first meeting with a Democratic senator after a series of meetings with Republicans. Today's meeting comes in the wake of a new CNN K-File report showing that Hegseth called the idea of gays openly serving in the U.S. military part of what he deems a, quote, Marxist agenda. We'll have more on that in a few moments. But here's what Fetterman had to say after today's meeting.
We had a conversation, and that's part of the process. And that's the thing. I'm going to follow the process. I'm going to listen to what my colleagues on the other side continue to say and how they evaluate.
Joining us now, Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw of Texas, a member of the House Intelligence Committee and a veteran himself. And you are one of 32 military veterans, we should know, Congressman, serving in the House who have signed a letter to Senate leaders endorsing Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. I wonder why you wouldn't want to wait for the FBI background check to come back.
Well, look, he's a public figure. He's, by the way, he's the only nominee I've even said anything about. And I know him a little bit, and I know he answers calls, and I know he listens. I know that some of his priorities are my priorities as well. You know, make the military a lethal institution. That's it. Don't focus on anything else. Get rid of woke and DEI nonsense that we've seen plague certain areas of our military. And I think that's okay. A little bit of a culture shift, and somebody who listens to people like me. So. I think that's why we signed that letter. I think maybe some of the tarnishing has been unfair. It's nothing new. This guy's already a public figure. And look, is that part of the process? Yeah, that is part of the process, to go through this. Welcome to politics. But I think he represents for a lot of us a welcome shift in how that institution is led, and I think that's okay.
A new report from CNN's K-File team highlights that Hegseth said that allowing gays to serve openly in the military reflects what Hegseth called a Marxist agenda. Listen to what he said just earlier this year.
Now you just have the absurdity of I have two mommies and I'm so proud to show them that I can wear the uniform too. So it's just like everything else the Marxists and the leftists have done. At first it was camouflaged nicely, and now they're just open about it.
I don't really know what to say. What's your reaction?
I'm not sure. I think life as a commentator is very different than life when you're actually a policymaker. I'm not sure he ever envisioned this next step. And look, that's a question senators are going to have to ask him. Is that my priority? Like that particular issue for when it comes to military doctrine and fixing our institution? Not really. My main issue is the lethality of the force, and I know that's his main issue. Hence our support. And that's probably as much as I'll say, because look, I'm not a senator. And these are going to be questions the senators have to ask and answer for themselves.
Do you think gays serving openly in the military makes the military less safe, less lethal?
No, we haven't seen any evidence of that. And I look, if I'm a betting man here, I doubt he's going to make any policy changes on that particular front anyway. The policy changes we'd be looking for are, say, look, what we shouldn't be doing is allowing transgender surgeries on service members and having the taxpayer pay for it, and making sure they're unable to actually deploy and fulfill their duties. And that's always the question. Are you able to fulfill your duties or are you compromising the ability of others to fulfill their duties as a result of your lifestyle? And if the answer is no, then fine. But if the answer is yes, then we should absolutely be against it. And that's just one example.
Let's move on to other matters. In part of his Person of the Year interview in Time magazine, President-elect Trump says he vehemently disagrees with the U.S. allowing Ukraine to use U.S.-provided weapons to strike inside Russia, long-range missiles. What do you foresee happening if the Trump administration no longer allows Ukraine to attack or respond to attacks against Russia this way?
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to listen to the full comments that he made on that interview. He also said you can't make that kind of decision and abandon Ukraine. You can't abandon Ukraine and think that you're going to have leverage to actually negotiate a peace deal with Putin. If I were advising Trump, I'd probably advise him to say that exact thing. You have to play good cop, bad cop here. And he's been given a really amazing opportunity to do that. I foresee a lot of success on this front because, look, Trump has never said he's going to abandon Ukraine. He said the opposite in that interview. He said we can't abandon Ukraine. And he doesn't want the legacy of abandoning Ukraine and letting Russia win the first land war of conquest since World War II. And he wants to make good on a campaign promise to get Putin to the negotiation table. And he knows you can't do that unless you can de-escalate. And I like that Biden has given them that opportunity to be able to de-escalate from escalation. It is classic good cop, bad cop, and I think it might actually work.
Well, let's hope so.